Said short-distance buses are given 40 litres of diesel and inter-provincial buses 75 litres of diesel. Hospital staff who is using diesel vehicles is issued diesel as well. Issuing of fuel for lorries that transport goods to the economic centres is taking place from filling stations belonging to the armed forces and SLTB depots from yesterday. The Minister of Trade said lorries that transport goods for 13 economic centres can get fuel from those filling stations.
එතුමන්ලගේ කැම්ප් එකේ ඩීසල් ටිකක් අපේ ව්‍යාපාරිකයන් හට ලබා දෙනවා ගොවි මහතුරුන්ට. ඇතර මේක ආදර්ශයක් කරගන්න පුළුවන් මුළු ලංකාවේම ආර්ථික මධ්‍යස්ථානයේ ඒ වගේ මැනි මාකට් ඒ වගේ ආයතන වලටත් මේ වගේ විශේෂ දෙයක් කෙරුවොත් ඒ පැතිවල ඉන්න ගොවියෝ ඒ වගේම ඉන්න ව්‍යාපාරිකයෝ සෑහීමකටපත් වෙන්න පුළුවන්.
නවරෙලිය එළවලු ටික පිට පළාත් වලට බෙදා ගැනීමට ලොකු අපහසුතාවයකටපත් වෙලා තිබ්බා. අද අපිට යොදා මුදාවේ තෙල් ටිකක් ලබා දුන්නා. ඒම දිගටම අපිට තෙල් ටිකක් ලබා දෙනවා නම් අපිට හැමදාම වෙලාවකට පිට පළාත් වලට අපිට එළවලු ටික බෙදා ගැනීමට හැකියාවක් ඇති.
Only limited number of buses are being operated at present. The number of buses operated from the main bus stand in Valimada has decreased by 90%.
ඇත්තම අපිට ධාවනය ඩීසල් තිබුණොත් තමයි ධාවනය වෙන්නේ. ඇතැම් ප්‍රදේශවල ඩීසල් තිබුණා. මොකද අපි කොච්චර ඔළුවෙන් හිටන් කිව්වත් මේ අර්බුද වෙලාවේ බස් ධාවනය කරන්න එපා කියලා කිව්වොත් නෑ අපිට ඩීසල් තියෙනවා ඩීසල් හම්බ වෙනවා කියලා ඩීසල් පොලිමේ ඉඳලා ගහගත්ත මිනිස්සු බස් ධාවනය කරනවා. ආදායම 4 ගුණයකින් 5 ගුණයකින් වැඩි වෙලා තියෙද්දි කවුද බස් එක නවත්තන්න කැමති? සතියේ දවස් දෙකක් හරි බස් එකක් දිව්වාම අර පෞගිය කාලේ සතියෙම දීපු ආදායම එක දවසකින් එය බස් හිමිකරුවන්ට ලැබෙනවා. ඉතින් මේක ජනතාවගේ අවාසනාව, බස් හිමිකරුවන්ගේ අවාසනාව, හැබැයි සේවක මාධ්‍යමගේ වාසනාව.
A tense situation occurred at IOC filling station in Namadu area in Dambulla Habarana main road. The groups at the filling station demanded to open the underground tanks. Sigria police have arrested 5 persons who are responsible for the unrest. Our reporter said stones were pelleted at police and the filling station. The restaurant owners in Hatton served cool drinks to the drivers who were in the queue for 4 days, nearly 500 in the queue. Florists are facing difficulties due to the fuel crisis. A body has been handed over to the relatives by pulling a hearse with a tractor at Mineria, Ulpad, Algama.
මේ මරණයක් වෙනවා කියන්නේ අද මෙතනද ගෙදරද එල්ලලා මැරලාද කොතනද කියන්නේ ඒතර පොලිසිය මහතුරුන්ටත් මල්ශාලාවක පිට තමයි පතන්න වෙන්නේ. පුළුවන් නම් මේ මල් සියලුම මල්ශාලා හිමියෝ මේක නවත්තන්න සතියක් හෝ දෙකක්. එතකොට තේරෙන්නේ නැති කට්ටියට තේරෙයි මේකත් අත්‍යවශ්‍යම කාරණාවක් කියලා.
It is reported that there is a high demand for clay firewood stoves. The price of those have increased. A shop owner in Bandarola said 50 such stoves are sold for a day.
මැටි නිර්මාණය කළ දරලිප් වලට ඉහළ ඉල්ලුමක් පවතින බවයි වාර්තා වන්නේ. එම ලිප්වල මිලද ශීඝ්‍රයෙන් ඉහළ ගොසේ. බණ්ඩාරවැලි ප්‍රදේශයේ කඩහිමියෙකු ප්‍රකාශ කළේ දිනකට මැටි ලිප් 50ක් පමණ අලෙවි වන බවයි.
ඉල්ලුම හොඳටම හොඳයි. දැන් නම් හොඳ බිස්නස් එකක් තියෙනවා අපිට. මැටි ලිප් නිතරම විකිනවා. අපි මම ඕඩර් එකක් දාලා ගෙන්න ගත්තේ ගොඩක් අමාරුයි. දැන් ඉස්සර වගේ නෙවෙයි. දැන් රුපියල් 800ට 850ට වගේ දැන් විකුණන්න පුළුවන්.
Employees of the water board are facing severe difficulties when reporting to work due to the fuel crisis.
තමන්ගේ වාහනට ඉන්ධන ටිකක් ගන්න බැරි නම් ලබන සතියේ අපිට වැඩබිම් වලට එන්න බෑ. සේවාමොර සේවකයන්ට වාර්තා කරන්න බෑ. අත්‍යවශ්‍ය නඩත්තු කටයුතු ජල බිඳ වැටි අලුත් වැඩියාවන් කරන්න හැකියාවක් නැති වෙනවා. ඒ තැන් වලට යන්න බැරි වෙනවා.
ඉන්ධන අර්බුදය සංචාරක
Fuel crisis has severely affected the tourism industry. Tourists in Alutgama Benthura Tourism City are facing severe difficulties. The group who are engaged in the industry say that tourist vehicles and boat services have been affected and requested to provide relief to the tourism industry, which earns dollars for the country. Now, Minister Kanchana Wijesekara says that he believes it will be possible to distribute fuel from Sipetco filling stations under certain limits from the 10th.
During a media briefing today, the minister said plans have been made to bring down petrol and kerosene ships through discussion with the Malaysian government. Minister Kanchana Wijesekara said that payments were made for 10 ships along with the IOC company, payments to suppliers informed by the Petroleum Corporation. Apart from that, prior to payments have been made. The first payment has been made to Vitol company for 40,000 metric tons of autodiesel. They said a ship will arrive between the 11th and 14th of this month. Apart from that, IOC company has agreed for 5 ships. The dates given for the first ship for the petrol is between the 22nd and 23rd July. The payments have been made for the ships. Apart from that, the Coral company confirmed diesel ships. It will be the first ship to arrive. They have given dates of 8th or 9th of this month. Discussions were held to give petrol ships on the 10th before that. 3 suppliers have been submitted letters for that. A positive response have been received from a request of the Malaysian government. They said they will provide 50,000 metric tons of petrol and 10,000 tons of kerosene. It is difficult these days to find fuel tankers, therefore they expect to send it in 2 parts of 50,000 metric tons each. Discussions took place between the governor of the central bank and funds needed for those. The money for them cannot be found easily. Explanation was given about the fuel stocks that are remaining in the Petroleum Corporation. The minister said that there are 12,774 metric tons of diesel, 1,414 metric tons of 92 petrol and 2,647 metric tons of 95 petrol. The minister expressed his views about the tour in Qatar recently. The minister said the Qatar officials said that they would agree to supply if a credit system is provided depending on the positive responses of the country's ruler. They agreed to prepare a mechanism to directly purchase from their companies if there is an urgent requirement. He expressed his views about the Sabgaskanda oil refinery. The minister Kanchana Wijesekara said it is incorrect that the Sabgaskanda refinery is being privatized. The government's aim is not to close it down or deactivate it. The officials there should manage its orders. I suspect that the lethargy has contributed to some of the problems. They've been given 1 week. By Friday, plans to December should be made. He requested not to work the political aims when the country is in a crisis. The minister also provided an explanation about the token system of the filling stations. The minister said that when it was confirmed the ship was not coming when we asked the public not to stay in queues, then it was decided to give tokens to those people in queues. This has become a wrong decision. The plans were made to send persons who were in queues by giving tokens, but it was not planned to give tokens to those who are coming into queues. Therefore, he requested the people not to ask for tokens because, unfortunately, it has become a business. A situation has occurred where cliques are engaging in rackets near filling stations. Although there is no fuel, there is no reduction of vehicles. The fuel that was gathered is being collected by some. That is the problem. The minister also spoke about disconnecting electricity at a media briefing. The minister said that electricity is generated using fuel. I asked not to disconnect electricity for more than 3.5 hours. Then it was said it can be done for a certain quantity of furnace fuel was given. The quantity was given. CEB should manage their income and expenditure. If only salaries were paid from income, the supplies are not being paid. Suppliers will not supply without.
Veteran actor Jackson Anthony, who was admitted to Anuradhapura Teaching Hospital following an accident yesterday, has been admitted to the intensive care unit of Colombo National Hospital this morning. Hospital sources said that he is scheduled to undergo a surgery tomorrow. The accident has occurred after shooting at Galagamu Hachikuchi Temple and returning for night lodging. The cab he was travelling had collided with a wild elephant while he was crossing the road at Tala Moragura area. The wild elephant had fallen on the cab. Jackson Anthony and his brother Saman Anthony, who were injured in the incident, were admitted to the Anuradhapura Teaching Hospital. The cab had been severely damaged and the police said the wild elephant may have been seriously injured. Medical tests are being conducted to check whether there is internal bleeding of his brother. He and the other person who were injured are undergoing treatment at Anuradhapura Teaching Hospital.
The Met Department says increased wind can be expected in the western, southern and seas and the south of the country due to the activation of the southwest monsoon. The Met Department says intermittent rains could occur in western, Sabaragamuwa, northwestern provinces, Kandy, Nuwara Eliya, Galle and Mathura districts. Vinvansundara Reservoir is overflowing due to heavy rains in the water retention areas of the Central Hills. 3 sluice gates of the Lakshapana Reservoir have been opened. Police have requested to drive through the Hatton-Norwood Road as a large earth mound and rocks have fallen in Mausakalewatha area on the road from Ginigathena, Norton Bridge to Maskalia. 2 sluice gates of the Canyon Reservoir have been opened. Several houses have been damaged due to heavy rain since last night. Nuwara District Disaster Management Units has informed the drivers to be vigilant as there is danger of earth mounds collapsing on the Hatton-Nuwara Main Road and the Hatton-Colombo Main Road. The water level of the Kaluganga River has increased due to heavy rains in Ratnapura and upper areas of the river. Transport was disrupted due to submerging of lowlands and by roads. 4 boats anchored in the Galle Fishery Harbour has sunk due to rough seas. Another 80 multi-day travellers and boats were damaged due to colliding with each other. Transport of the Samudra Mautha from Galle to Margalla was disrupted due to sea waves coming ashore. Road from the 91st kilometre post to the 93rd kilometre post on Colombo-Galle Main Road and the road through Kahawatha-Godagama have been damaged due to sea erosion. Accordingly, Ambalangode police took steps to correct the road from Madambe, Usmudala to Kahawatha. Southern Province Development Board and Provincial Coast Council Department have commenced removing the debris on the Galle-Colombo Main Road. Heavy rains falling in the upper areas of the Ging River Basin, the Irrigation Department said minor flood situations can occur in Valivita, Divitura, Baddegama, Kotapola, Hikkaduwa, Niyagama, Neluwa, Talawa, Akmimana, Nagoda, Alpitia, Bope, Poddala and in the low-lying areas of the Galle, Kadawatsatara Divisional Secretariat areas. Minister Vijayadasa Rajapaksa says he will debate any person who says the 21st Constitutional Amendment is less effective than the 19th Amendment to the Constitution.
The minister mentioned this in connection with the 22nd Constitutional Amendment, which is scheduled to be tabled in Parliament within the next few days. Minister Vijayadasa Rajapaksa said that a certain group is trying to create an opinion in the country that the 22nd Amendment to the Constitution is trying to protect the President's powers and the Rajapaksa family. There is no plan to protect anyone by the 22nd Constitutional Amendment. All measures have been taken to protect the country through that. Provisions that can be passed without a referendum have been included. It includes the points agreed by all political parties. The objective is to create a draft that can go beyond democratic characteristics in the 19th Amendment. Accordingly, the Cabinet approved the 22nd Constitutional Amendment and it has been published in the Gazette. The opposition tabled 21st Amendment to Parliament and there were complaints in the court. The Supreme Court decided the amendment of the opposition with 60 clauses and 8 subjects cannot be passed without a referendum. Now, opposition leader Sajith Premadasa requests not to be misled by persons who says that the country can be built in a short period of 5 months.
He says that it will take a minimum of 5 years to build a country and to join him to do so. The opposition leader Sajith Premadasa said that they are prepared to join hands with all progressive political parties to build the country and they are prepared to forgive leadership. He requested everyone to join with the people's struggle to end the rule that destroys the country and the people. The country, which was destroyed within 3 years, cannot be built suddenly. Major economic, social and political reforms should be implemented to build the country. He requests the people to choose the correct path.
Representatives of political parties expressed their views about the present situation of the country. MP Partili Shampika Ranawaka said that foreign media has reported that fuel distribution has been suspended in Sri Lanka. 5.4 million vehicles in the country are parked on the road. Closing down the country is not a solution. All sectors have collapsed. However, there are solutions to these issues.
සියලුම ක්ෂේත්‍ර බිඳ වැටලා තියෙනවා ගොවිතැන් බිඳ වැටලා තියෙනවා වැවිලි කර්මාන්තය බිඳ වැටලා තියෙනවා කර්මාන්ත බිඳ වැටලා තියෙනවා අපනයන බිඳ වැටලා තියෙනවා මේ විකල්ප ඉන්න විකල්ප තියෙනවා මේවට විකල්ප නැතුව නෙවෙයි මේවට විසඳුම් නැතුව නෙවෙයි අපි රට ගොඩ ගැනීම
Former President Maithripala Sirisena said that a program to build the country has been prepared through discussions with the experts. Many civil organizations have drafted methods to build the country and they are at discussion level. The main suggestion among them is the all-party government. It will bring international aid. The program that has been prepared will be presented to the people in a week or two. Now, Australian Cricket Chief Executive Officer Nick Hockley says that proper coordination between Sri Lanka and Australia cricket boards contributed to the success of the series.
He mentioned this during an interview with the national television.
A pleasant day and a very warm welcome to this exclusive segment conducted by Rupavahini, the state television. And today we have a great personality who is having an experience of more than a decade organizing major events with the organizing committees of IZ and even with cricket, and currently he is serving as the Chief Executive Officer of Cricket Australia, Mr. Nick Hockley. And we are very privileged and very honoured to have you with us, sir, with this exclusive interview. And a pleasant day and Aiboan. Welcome to Sri Lanka.
Wonderful to be here. Thank you for having me, and it's a great pleasure to talk to you today.
That's great, sir. And since 2016, we were not dealing each other closely with cricket, Australia and Sri Lanka. And with this economic crisis, amidst a huge problem here in Sri Lanka, so Cricket Australia decided to visit Sri Lanka. So as the CEO, what's your comment on that?
Well, firstly, I think I speak on behalf of the entire playing group. Everyone is delighted to be here. We are very conscious of the current situation, and we want to do everything we possibly can to support. I think relations between Sri Lanka and Australia have been very strong. Our shared love of cricket. I understand that it's 75 years of diplomatic relations this year, and the warmth of the reception that we've received, the spirit of cooperation between both cricketing boards, ourselves and Cricket Sri Lanka has been exceptional. We've been extremely well looked after.
In this series, in the final ODI match, you might experience that the Sri Lankan spectators were dressed in yellow. So as the cricket CEO of Australia, how can you feel that enthusiasm?
I just think the warmth of the reception, of the welcome, we were just enormously appreciative and blown away by it. I woke up, I was in Australia at the time of that match, and I woke up in the middle of the night to turn on the TV, and I thought I was watching an Australian home game. But really, it does show the bond between the two cricket-loving nations. I think it was there's an enormous amount of respect between the two teams. I think the spirit in which the series has been played has been outstanding, and we're just enormously appreciative of the welcome that we've received.
And so simply, we have heard certain charity work done by Australian cricket fellows when visiting a certain country, and they have done several times to Sri Lanka as well. And this time especially, they were involving in such charity works as well. So this time is a bit special time for us as well. So can you explain a little bit on the charity work that you have done at this moment? Right. So visiting a country during a hard time is not that much convenient as a formal visit. Although this visit was pre-planned, there might be certain obstacles faced by Cricket Australia. Would like to know about that also, sir.
I think there's been really great coordination and planning in conjunction with Sri Lankan cricket. So certainly from a logistics perspective, it has been, so there's been a few challenges, but they are challenges that have been overcome, and that's through the strength of the relationship, through a lot of people's hard work, and we're very appreciative of that. And I think, you know, now as we come to the end of the series, Both test matches are being played here in Gaul, so we're trying to minimise the amount of movement and transportation so that we can see a great cricket series completed, but without taking resources away, because we know that they're much needed at this time.
And so moving a little bit apart, we're planning to have the T20 World Cup series. So there are certain preparations with these COVID restrictions and the other impacts done by this disaster situation. We yet to postpone it. What are the preparations currently underway for this T20 World Cup tournament?
Well, firstly, I would like to say a big thank you to Sri Lankan cricket and everyone in Sri Lanka for the incredibly warm welcome for this series. Our hope for the T20 World Cup is that we can reciprocate that hospitality. We're really pleased that now that all of the borders for visitor travel are open, there are now no restrictions on the numbers of crowds. We know that well, the preparations are going really, really well, and we're seeing lots of people buying tickets. So we're just excited about, just as we saw in Colombo for the ODI series, we're looking forward to seeing full crowds, lots of families coming together, kids, adults, really coming back to the cricket and having a wonderful time. And we know that it's going to be a very competitive T20 World Cup. My main message was we would just like as many people as possible to come and visit, and if you're unable to come and visit, to tune in on TV.
All right. So with that, we are going to end our conversation. And before that, as the cricket CEO of Australia, so can you give a message to the world of the current situation of the country and your visit to Sri Lanka this time?
I would just like to say that we wish everyone really well. We've received an incredibly warm welcome here in Sri Lanka. It's the most beautiful country, the most beautiful, iconic cricket venue here in Gaul, and hopefully what you've seen through this series is the spirit of cricket on display, and also the power of sport to build relationships, bring people together, and we're just extremely, extremely appreciative.
Thank you very much, sir, for this exclusive interview and giving your valuable time on behalf of Sri Lankan people. And we thank you on behalf of the entire country and even especially from ChannelEye Rupavahini Corporation. Thank you very much, sir.
On more news at home, High Commissioner of Sri Lanka to India, Melinda Moragada, met with the Minister of Petroleum and Natural Gas and Housing and Urban Affairs of India, Shri Hardeep Singh Puri, recently to discuss urgent matters pertaining to bilateral energy cooperation. The meeting was held at the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs in New Delhi. High Commissioner Moragada briefed Minister Puri on the acute challenges that Sri Lanka is currently facing with regard to the supply and distribution of petroleum products. The High Commissioner of Sri Lanka discussed with Minister Puri the possibility of securing petrol and diesel supplies that are required by Sri Lanka at present on an urgent basis. Minister Puri responded positively in this regard and assured the High Commissioner of all possible support to Sri Lanka. The High Commissioner and the Minister also discussed modalities through which India and Sri Lanka could further expand cooperation in the petroleum sector to help overcome the immediate crisis and to ensure energy security in Sri Lanka. High Commissioner Moragada and Minister Puri also discussed ways and means through which Sri Lanka could establish long-term ties in the petroleum, oil, gas and related logistics sectors. Now, Jatika Jana Balavega has organised a series of protests demanding solutions to the present crisis and the resignation of the present government. One protest was held in Vallavaya town. The protesters commenced the protest near Vallavaya bus stand and walked around the town. Protests took place in Paduka and Migoda areas. The protesters said that the government should take steps to provide gas, fuel and essential items soon. Another protest of the Jatika Jana Balavega took place in Piliyandala town. The protest commenced from 5 places and they engaged in a protest after walking into the Piliyandala town. Another protest organised by women's organisations took place near Bakery Junction in Mount Lavinia. Many women in the area took part in the protest. protest by cycling organized by Samak Jana Balavege took place in Mathura. They engaged in the protest by cycling around the town. We'll be back with international news after this short break.
හොඳම දේ විශ්වාසයෙන් ට්‍රීට් කරන්න. Prima Treats. Life is a treat.
தேசத்தின் இலக்கை நோக்கி முன்னிற்கும் நாம் சவால்களை வென்று முன் செல்லும் 61வது சுற்றை இவ்வாறு எதிர்கொள்வோம். மக்கள் வங்கி 61 வருடங்களின் அபிமானம்.
Welcome back. On foreign news, at least 19 people were killed and 11 others injured when a speeding passenger bus veered off a mountain road in heavy rain and fell into a ravine in Pakistan's Restive Balochistan province today. The bus carrying more than 30 people was heading to Quetta from Islamabad when it plunged into the ravine and snow. Rescue teams rushed to the scene soon after receiving information, Shah said, adding that the bodies had been taken into hospital where the process to identify them was underway. Authorities say that the injured were in critical condition and the death toll could rise. Pakistan's chief minister expressed grief over the accident. He ordered an emergency be declared in civil hospitals, swab and ensure treatment for the injured. Prime Minister Shahbaz Sharif also expressed sorrow over the tragic accident and offered his condolences and sympathies to the bereaved families.
A man has died and thousands of people have been told to evacuate their homes amid torrential rain and flash flooding in Australia's largest city, Sydney. Roads have been cut off with 18 evacuation orders in Western Sydney alone and warnings of more to come. The area was hit by flash flooding in March, killing 20 people. Sydney's main dam had also started to spill overnight, a further concern for the authorities. Ms. Cook said there was a rapidly evolving situation and warned the people should be prepared to evacuate at short notice. There had been 83 flood rescues by the emergency services in the past 24 hours, she said.
It was the SES to the rescue. She was too weak to be...
Prima Kotami Pantan.
Now, short-distance runner Yupun Abekon has established a new Sri Lankan and South Asian record in the 100 meters event. He has established the record at the Athletic Championship in Switzerland today. Yupun ended the race in 9.96 seconds. This is the first time where a South Asian athlete ended a 100 meters event in less than 10 seconds. And on international sports news, we have about Indian cricketer, the captain of Indian team, Jasprit Bumrah, setting the world record in batting by scoring the highest number of runs in and over in the history of Test cricket. And this was taken place during the 5th Test match with England.
The match is being played in Birmingham. The commencement of the second day, India was 338 for 7 wickets. They scored 416 in their first inning. Jasprit Bumrah scored 35 runs in the 84th over, bowled by Stuart Broad. Yesterday, Bumrah scored 4 boundaries and 2 sixes in that over. Apart from that, the over recorded 5 additional runs, including a wide, 1 no ball and 1 from a bat. Jasprit Bumrah broke the record of West Indies batsman Brian Lara, who scored 28 runs in 1 over.
Prima Kotami Pantan.
That's all the news we have for tonight. Do join us tomorrow at 8:50 p.m. for the very latest on Channel I. I'm Delanjali together with Uwin signing off. Good night.